In the ancient village of Injuko, where the earth was red and the wind carried the songs of old spirits, there lived a woman named Adana. She was the pride of the land, her skin dark and glowing like polished ebony, her eyes sharp as the blade of a hunter's spear, her waist slender and her laughter like the tinkling of river water over smooth stones. Every man dreamed of her, every mother warned their son that Adana's beauty was matched only by her pride. Adana had vowed long ago that she would never marry a poor man or a man of low standing. Only the richest, only the finest would touch her hand. She cared not for kindness, nor for a good heart, nor for wisdom. To her, a man's worth was counted in cattle, land, and gold. One day, as the sun burned high in the sky and the market buzzed with life, a stranger entered the village. He was tall and broad-shouldered, his frame powerful like the trunk of an iroko tree. But his face was hidden behind a carved wooden mask, ugly, cracked, and crooked as if fire had kissed it long ago. His name, the elders said, was Obina. He had come from a distant land to claim the lands and wealth of his late father, and by all accounts, he was now the richest man in Injuko. The women of the village whispered and laughed behind their hands. Who would marry such a man, so cursed in the face but blessed in fortune? Adana heard their whispers and smiled to herself. A husband with riches but a face hidden in shame? It did not matter to her. A man's face could grow old, but gold would forever shine. She made her plan that very day. She approached him at the riverbank with honeyed words, her voice soft like palm wine. She brought him meals, danced for him under the moon, and spoke of loyalty and submission. Obina said little, but his dark eyes behind the mask watched her carefully, silently. When he asked her to be his wife, she agreed before the words had fully left his mouth. The village gasped. Adana, who had scorned every man, had taken the stranger for a husband. But in the secret of her heart, Adana laughed. To her friends in hushed corners she boasted, "Have I not one? A monster for a husband, but gold for my soul. I shall live like a queen while he hides his face in shame." The village women giggled and praised her cleverness, but the elders shook their heads in silence. On their wedding night, when the drums of celebration faded into the darkness, Adana refused his touch. She mocked him with cold words and cruel laughter. "You hide your face like a beast, husband. I married your gold, not your ugliness." She poured his wine onto the floor and turned her back. Obina said nothing. Days turned to weeks. Adana paraded her new wealth before the villagers, wrapped in fine cloths, covered in bracelets of brass and beads of coral. Yet each day she grew bolder in her cruelty, whispering of her trick to every ear that would listen. "I married a mask," she sneered. "A masked fool with a heart of gold and the face of a demon. But the gods are not blind." The great festival of harvest came, and the entire village gathered in the square. There would be wrestling, feasting, and dancing beneath the stars. It was then, in the heart of the crowd, that Adana saw her chance. She grabbed Obina by the hand and pulled him into the circle of villagers. "Let all see the beast I married," she cried, her voice sharp and proud. "Let the sun shine upon his cursed face. This is the monster I wed for gold." The people gasped, turning to watch. The old men stopped chewing cola nuts. The young women held their breaths. Even the wind seemed to hush. With a swift motion, Adana tore the wooden mask from his face. The world stood still. Before them stood not a monster, not a cursed man, but the most handsome face they had ever seen. Obina's skin was smooth as river stone, his jaw strong, his lips full, his eyes bright as morning stars. A murmur ran through the crowd like wind through dry leaves. The women gasped, the men stiffened in shock. Adana stumbled back, her eyes wide, her mouth dry. Why did you wear the mask?" she whispered, her voice broken and trembling. Obina turned to her, his face calm, his eyes sad. His voice was soft but carried like thunder. "Because I wanted a woman who would love me for my soul, not my face nor my riches. I wanted a wife whose heart was true. But you have shown your heart is full of greed and cruelty. You have failed the test." A heavy silence fell. The elders shook their heads, disappointed. The women who had envied Adana now pitied her. The men who had laughed at Obina now felt shame. And Adana, queen of pride, fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face, knowing she had lost a prince far greater than gold could buy. Obinna stepped forward and faced the village. My true wife waits in the next village. She loved me when I wore this mask. She saw the man inside. He held the mask aloft for all to see. Then he turned, tall and proud, and walked away, his back straight as the Iroko. The villagers watched in silence as he disappeared down the red path, his shadow long in the setting sun. And Adana. She lived the rest of her days in sorrow, dressed in fine cloth, surrounded by gold, yet empty and alone. Her beauty faded, her laughter silenced. No man sought her hand. No friend sought her company. She sat by her window, staring at the distant hills where Obinna had gone, and wept for the husband she had lost to pride. The village of Injuko never forgot. Parents warned their daughters. Elders told the tale beneath moonlit skies. The story of the man with the mask and the woman who judged his face became a lesson whispered for generations. For the heart, they said, is worth more than beauty. And the face can lie. But the soul cannot hide forever.